Dollar stores are doing a booming business, but some communities are telling them to get out. Let's connect the dots. Birmingham, Alabama recently passed a law prohibiting dollar stores from opening within a mile of an existing location, and cities like Fort Worth and New Orleans are talking about doing the same thing. That's after research showed dollar stores limit access to healthy food in urban areas. Critics say the companies intentionally open multiple locations in poor urban areas, forcing out existing grocery stores and preventing new ones from opening, which is a problem because most dollar stores don't offer fresh food. They mostly sell snacks and soda. In fact, in Fort Worth, one councilwoman argued there were close to 100 dollar-type stores in a 10-mile radius in her district. But the biggest names in the business, Dollar General and Dollar Tree, argue they are providing a useful service, convenient places to grab food and household items for cheap. And Dollar General is now offering produce in 500 of its 15,000 stores. Connecting the dots, I'm Marcelino Benito for H-Town Rush.